Hi boys and girls, it's Tuesday. It's time for Teacher Read Aloud. Today at our school it was Create a Fort Day. So I'm going to read you some books about secret shortcuts and made up places. Our first book is called The Secret Shortcut by Mark Teague. On Monday, Wendell and Floyd were late for school. They had nearly been captured by space creatures, they told their teachers. Ridiculous, said Ms. Greensblatt, and she warned them not to let it happen again. Do you think that really happened? But Tuesday was no better. Pirates were loose in the neighborhood. It was sheer bad luck, Wendell and Floyd explained when they showed up late for school. Preposterous, said Ms. Greensblatt. That's a fancy word for I do not believe you. And on Wednesday, even though Wendell and Floyd left early, a plague of frogs made them late once again. Absurd, cried their teacher. I'm warning you. Be here on time tomorrow or else, and no more crazy excuses. Boys and girls, do you think those things are really happening? There's got to be a way to get to school on time, said Wendell. We'll just have to leave earlier. Floyd arrived at Wendell's house so early the next morning that the sun was barely up and Wendell was still in his pajamas. I've got an idea, said Wendell as he quickly got dressed. We'll follow my secret shortcut and get to school even sooner. Shortcut? Asked Floyd. I didn't know there were any good shortcuts to school. This is the secretest shortcut of all, said Wendell. In fact, I invented it myself. He led Floyd up the alley by the Ulick's backyard, then down a culvert, over a fence, and through a dense thicket of blackberry vines. That reminds me of our trails at school. I wonder what's going to happen. Do you see there's a friend climbing over the fence? Then they scrambled over some boulders, down a steep bank, and across a narrow stream. This is some shortcut, said Floyd. Relax, said Wendell. We'll be there in a minute. But the forest became thicker and darker. Soon it was hung with vines. The screeches of strange jungle animals echoed all around. Maybe we took a wrong turn, said Floyd. I'm pretty sure the school is right up ahead, Wendell told him. Boys and girls, are you getting nervous? I'm a little nervous about this. Do you think there's a jungle close to a school? But the jungle only grew wilder, and when the boys finally came to a trail, it didn't lead straight to the school as they had hoped. Instead, it meandered through quicksand swamps and past large, sleeping crocodiles. Oh dear. And across a deep, rocky gorge. Oh boy. It began to get late. This is going to be hard to explain, said Floyd. They stood in a small clearing. I have an idea, said Wendell. We'll climb a tree and see if we can spot the school. Boys and girls, do you think that they're lost? Would you be nervous if you were trying to get to school a new way and you couldn't get there? I would be nervous. They chose the biggest, tallest tree they could find and climbed all the way to the top. Do you see the school? Asked Wendell. I don't even see the town, said Floyd. They watched some monkeys playing in the treetops. I have another idea, said Wendell. What is it? Asked Floyd. He was getting tired of Wendell's ideas. We'll swing from these vines just like the monkeys, said Wendell. That way we'll travel much faster. Would you like to travel from vines? I think I would. I think that would be fun. Soon they were swinging from vine to vine. This isn't bad, shouted Floyd. I'll bet we're making good time. I knew this shortcut would work out, Wendell said, but at that moment they ran out of vines. Oh dear. The boys landed plop, plop in a giant puddle of mud. Now what do we do? Asked Floyd. I don't know, said Wendell. I'm out of ideas. They sat in the puddle and thought about all the trouble they were going to be in. Miss Gernsblatt will never believe this story, said Wendell. It is sort of crazy, said Floyd. Just then, from far away, they heard a school bell ring. We don't have a school bell, but some schools do. When the bell rings, it means it's time for school. Did you hear that? Cried Wendell. That was the first bell. We can still make it if we run. They ran until the jungle gave way to forest, and the forest became woods, and then they scurried through the Mortley's backyard and up the hill to the school. They flew through the door of Miss Gernsblatt's room and landed squishily in their seats, just as the late bell rang. Well, you made it, said their teacher, and just in time. But how on earth did you get so muddy just walking to school? Floyd looked at Wendell. Wendell looked at Floyd. On second thought, said Miss Gernsblatt, maybe you'd better not say. During recess, Wendell and Floyd sat in the sun to give the mud a chance to dry. At least we finally got to school on time, said Wendell. That's the main thing, Floyd agreed. And in fact, it was quite a while before they were late for school again. Even so, they never did find a really good shortcut. Boys and girls, wouldn't it be fun to go in the woods at Bethlehem Children's School and find some cool shortcuts? Maybe some monkeys swinging from vines. I think that would be fun. The next book I have for you today is also about a made-up place, Where the Wild Things Are, by Maurice Sendak. Not only did he write the story, he did all of the artwork. So put your artist eyes on, click, click, and look for the beautiful pictures of wild things. This is a winner of the Caldecott Medal for the most distinguished picture book of the year, which is fancy for it's a super great, awesome book. Here we go. Where the Wild Things Are. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, I'll eat you up. So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, Be still, and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all of their yellow eyes. without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And made him king of all wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. A rumpus is a fancy word for party with lots of dancing. There they are, having a wild rumpus under that full moon. When we get back to school, we should have a wild rumpus. There they are, kind of like in our last book, hanging from tree branches. And there they are, giving Max, the king of all wild things, a ride. Boys and girls, would you ride on the back of a wild thing? I think I would. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. Do you see his down smile? But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. The end. Boys and girls, I hope you have some fun in your secret forts today, and I hope that you can find the wild things if you want to go look for them. I'll see you another day. Love you and miss you.